Hi, and welcome to the No Ceilings Podcast on the Turtlesmith Network. I'm Courtney, and this is Vincent. What's going on, Vincent?
Nothing much, Courtney. How you doing?
I am doing good. It's cold.
Very.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Making sure everybody not ashy. We don't know ashy arms or legs or
Mm-mm.
lips.
I'll tell you what, I still ain't turning that heat up that much, though.
Why?
I don't like a hot house.
That ain't enough for me. I need to eat.
I gotta stay cool. Mm-mm. So what we got on the table today, Courtney?
All right, so we are in phase 2, step 3.
Step 3.
Accounting. And so with accounting, it's not a very fun topic to talk about, but it's a much needed topic to discuss, and it's a much needed step. And so a lot of people might be wondering why accounting matters so much. Well, you need to know the numbers for your business. You have to know those, but we're going to try to make it as easy as possible. You don't have to get into the dirty details, but you need to know enough to be able to explain what's happening with your business at any given time.
Right.
With that being said, our goal is to make sure that we have a clear understanding of the basics of accounting and how they apply to your business. That's our end goal.
Right. We're not CPAs. We're not trying to give you a class or anything like that. We just want you to have an understanding of the numbers and what's going on with your business.
Indeed.
And so that kind of brings us into our first point and why accounting matters. And here's the deal. Accounting can feel like learning a foreign language, but unlike a foreign language, you can't just not learn it. You know, you got to have at least the basics so that if you do want to hire a CPA or accountant at some point in time, you have a good understanding of what you're sending to them and what they're sending back to you, so that you just have an understanding, you know that you're not getting robbed and that everything's on the up and up.
Yeah, I think that there are some statements that we probably need to talk about, just so that everybody kind of knows exactly what they mean. So today we're going to go through 3 different reports, business reports that you need to have.
Yeah.
The first one is going to be your balance sheet. And basically that's just a snapshot of your business at any given moment.
Yeah.
It tells you what you own, what you owe, and how much of the business is actually yours.
Okay.
I think that that's important because, you've got to think about your liabilities. Yeah, the formula for that is assets equal liabilities plus equity. Okay. And so you want to make sure that, you keep this in mind and you know what this is at any given time.
Right.
The second one is going to be your profit and loss statement. That's going to be like a lot of people call it an income statement.
Yeah.
This is your scoreboard for your business over time. It shows whether you're winning or losing, and that's important too. The third one is going to be your statement of cash flows. If you've ever wondered why your profit is high but your bank account is low, this statement is going to explain to you exactly where the cash went.
Okay.
So that's the 3. Okay. And I think that if you know those 3, or you have you've accounted for those 3, I think that you will be able to really sit down and talk with an accountant or about those at any given time. You can talk to another business at any given time. Investors, whomever, at any given time about the accounting of your business.
Right, and have a very comprehensive conversation about something. It's not rocket science, but you do have to have a good understanding so you can have those sometimes uncomfortable conversations about your business and the numbers. When it comes to like money and stuff like that, some people get so emotionally tied to it that, it makes those conversations a little uncomfortable. Yeah. So just having that understanding can ease some of that pain for that. Yeah. And just to make sure you're, doing some good bookkeeping, you want to use this method called the double entry bookkeeping. So that's basically making sure your information is in 2 places. You don't want to just send all your records to one CPA or have all your records in just one place, just in case anything could happen. So, for example, You make a sale, you record as income. Mm-hmm. Then on your profit loss statement, it's cash debit on your balance sheet.
Right.
Then when you pay a bill, that also shows, excuse me, I'm had a little energy tea and that is working on me right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I drink
energy tea.
Yeah, got to stay focused, got to stay sharp. So.
What kind of tea is that?
I use
Pause. I got to know a little bit more about the tea.
Yeah, I drink the Herbalife tea.
Okay.
With a little lift off, a little NRG for blood flow and focus.
Okay.
Okay, really good.
That's it.
Yep.
And unpause.
Unpause. So when you pay a bill. Oh man, no, for real. You reduce your cash and increase your expenses. Here's the golden rule: debits must always equal to credits.
Okay, that makes sense.
This system keeps your books balanced, accurate, and ready for analysis. So you just want to make sure that's some of your end of day stuff. That's your day to day. Just making sure all of that is on the up and up, especially if you have like sales like a restaurant. If you don't have all that stuff accurately tracked, it's a headache when it comes to time to do the taxes on every little item and all that stuff. Trust me, that's a headache you want to have done far before you get to the checks and balances of that.
Agreed. And I think that segues into a discussion about software.
Yeah.
What's the appropriate or what's a good software to use for a small business or someone who's just starting. That's going to be like your accounting assistant. And so when we talk about these types of tools, if double entry bookkeeping feels intimidating, then software can be your best friend.
Right.
And a lot of people really like to use like QuickBooks. I when I had my own business, I definitely used QuickBooks.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what I was really doing with it, but it literally guides you through everything, and that's the good part about it. QuickBooks is usually the industry standard. The desktop, the computer version is great for power users, but the online version wins for convenience and accessibility. But there are other options like FreshBooks that cater to small businesses as well. And so there's a lot of different softwares that you can use. It really depends on the type of money that you want to spend on it. But I will say QuickBooks is very user friendly. And I really can't speak on any one that I haven't used, but I think
I heard of one called NAV, N-A-V. I heard that one was pretty good as well. It tracks everything. It categorizes everything for you instantly. When you make that purchase, it's very easy to use.
NAV, I'm going to have to check that out.
Check it out.
Well, the key to picking software is depending on what's the best for your business size and the complexity. So you really got to get online and do your research, do comparisons and determine what's best for you. It's like picking the right shoes. You know what I'm saying? Do you want the Pumas? You want some Adidas? You want some Nikes? You want some Jordans? What you want?
Right. And don't be afraid to get in there and you remember how you used to say, try to get in there and break it.
Yeah, we want you to break it. Break the system.
See, just get in there and start plugging stuff in.
Yeah.
To see how it works for you. That's the only way you're gonna learn. Make some mistakes, learn some stuff, and be familiar with software and technology because it's really taking over right now.
Absolutely.
But in the spirit of accounting, the biggest part of accounting, and sometimes the most intimidating part, is doing the taxes.
Yes.
Taxes can be very intimidating,
Nerve-wracking.
We heard earlier that there's 10 million fraudulent taxes submitted every year. That's insane.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So when I heard that and they were talking about doing audits, stuff like that, not being so intimidating because the IRS has so much more to worry about than you just making a mere mistake on your taxes. So just to kind of ease that kind of thought in your mind about being attacked by the IRS, it's not going to be so bad.
Have you ever gotten a letter from the IRS?
Yeah, I got a letter, but I haven't got none of them type of letters.
Well, I'm just saying, like, you know, when you're doing your taxes and they find like a discrepancy, have you ever gotten one of those letters before? Never. Where they want you to go in and verify and make corrections.
I've heard that happen to people, but me personally, no.
No. Okay. I was just curious. I figured I'd ask.
Mm-mm.
It's a little scary. It could be a little. You get that letter through the mail and it's got
them 3 big letters on that mug.
I mean, because no.
And it's not a check.
Yeah.
Nah, man, you don't want to see that mug.
Yeah, no, I pass. Can't do it.
Yeah. Just some quick tips though on your taxes, in bookkeeping with your taxes. Keep track of all deductible expenses. Stay organized throughout the year so tax season doesn't feel like a war zone.
Yeah.
And also consult a professional, but remember, double check their work because they are humans. They do make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes.
Yeah.
And just to be on the up and up, it's good to go through 4 eyes than just 2.
Absolutely.
And I'm not talking about somebody wearing glasses.
You the 4 eyes today?
Yeah, I'm the 4 eye.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about it. So, now that we've gone through the steps, I kind of want to transition into our business successes and failures.
Okay.
And I want to see, I have a failure that I'd like to talk about that ended in a success.
Okay.
But I don't have have you ever experienced a discrepancy with a CPA?
Man, I tell you what, with the taxes and stuff, I've just been blessed, really. I haven't had a bunch of I haven't really had any trouble with just taxes or any stuff like that.
Okay. So, funny story. It's not really funny. It's just a story.
Right.
Because ain't shit funny about this. All right. So, I had my business. And when I had my business, I had gotten to the point where I was generating so much business that, you know, I felt like I needed to hire a CPA.
With the bail bonds.
With the bail bonds.
Right.
And so when I did that, this guy came in, he sold himself to us. Came into the office.
How much money are we talking about?
$150 a month.
No, I'm talking, you said you had got to a point in your business.
Oh, no. Don't even worry about that. That ain't none of your business. That ain't none of your business.
I thought I was going to get some up out of you real quick. Okay,
that ain't none of your business.
Yeah.
But we had gotten to the point where we needed a CPA. So I brought, he came, he was in the building, and I guess he was just going to different offices, just talking about his services. And I mean, he had a pretty good sales pitch, right?
You had the elevator pitch?
He did.
He sold you?
He sold us.
Okay.
And so we hired him on. We were paying him $150 a month to keep track of everything. I would send over everything, the spreadsheets that I would keep, I send those over to him every single month.
Right.
At the end of, and then I just figured I didn't know what to really expect because I was new to this. Again, I didn't
First
go
time.
through the appropriate steps that I should have gone through, and I didn't talk to the people that I probably need. I probably needed to talk to several different accountants and then choose one, right?
Yeah.
So it was tax time, and I really hadn't heard anything from him. And when I tried to make a phone call to him to figure out, what I needed to do to start the process of filing the taxes for the year, I could not get in contact with him. I couldn't get in contact with him through email. I couldn't get in contact with him through a telephone number. The phone just rang and rang and rang and rang and rang. And that money was coming out of my account automatically every month.
Right.
And so I literally had to call my bank and have them do stop payments on that because he was taking my money.
Right.
Lucky for me, I was keeping track of everything. I had 3 copy receipts, and this was a while back. I don't know if people still do 3 copy receipts or whatever, how they do that, but I had my 3 copy.
Right.
And, I kept track of everything on a spreadsheet, so it wasn't hard for me to pick up and go find somebody else to work with that could handle that. But I had already spent that money.
Right.
And it was rather expensive to go to another person to get them to do that and clean all of that mess up. And so he did, and I am grateful to him for the work that the CPA that did the work that he did. Very grateful to him, and this has been years ago, so I'm not going to name any names or anything like that. But it was a failure on my part because I didn't do the research. That should have, to me, I feel like that's something that could have been included in these steps that I missed.
Do you know if they're still in business, still doing that to people?
I haven't heard from that man.
That's really unfortunate.
It is, because if I was paying him that and there were other people that were paying him that, he had a hustle.
Yeah.
Bro was hustling everybody. He was getting that one. I mean, just think if he had 2 people, that's $300 right there a month.
Yeah.
And he was all through the building talking to people.
Right. And if
selling that pitch.
You know, he was taking that pitch everywhere.
Yeah, he was. Because I was quick to say no, but
yeah,
it was I was smitten.
Yeah. Well,
I was like, ooh, $150. But with that being said, you know, I also have been schooled on, you know, $150 is a pretty good steal on, you know, those types of services, especially with the amount of business that we were bringing in. I probably should have done my research. So
yeah, it's cool. You live and you learn, and that was a failure that turned into a success, like you said, and now everybody knows what to look out for.
So just do your research, man. Just make sure I would, you know, do have a couple of conversations or a few conversations, and then do comparisons and figure out, you know, who is going to provide you with the best bang for your buck.
And if you're doing this on the front end, as you should be now, then, you know, you can kind of start getting an idea of what kind of services or who offers those services, and just kind of make a list of those people and see the going rates for those services that you'll be needing.
Yep.
So that moves us into our action items. You don't have any more successes or failures to share?
I don't have anything else for our successes and failures section. So let's move to action items.
For sure. So our first thing you want to be able to do is review your financial statements. You want to be able to have an understanding of those just for yourself before you get to the point that you need an accountant like you did.
Right.
And then after that, you want to set up some accounting software. We talked about QuickBooks. We talked about Nav. I'm sure there's other software, but those will definitely do the job for you.
Yep.
Then we also learned about double entry bookkeeping basics. That'll help. If you have accounting software, I think that will help with that as well. But it'll help to have a safeguard in place.
Right.
And then last but not least, stay tax ready. Have those tax documents organized, have your financial statements, all those statements organized in one place. So when it comes time to tax time, do your taxes, you're not scrambling around, looking for this, looking for that, going nuts, pulling your hair out.
Waiting until October, entrepreneurs. I know that a lot of people do that. They're like, oh, well, I just filed an extension. You know, do it right. That way because you're still, even though you filed that extension, you think you're okay, but why do that when you can really just kind of get everything together and it be out your hair, you know?
You know, we live by that 80-20, 90-10.
File your taxes on time, entrepreneurs. Let's do this right. Let's do it right.
Please do.
All right. Well, do you have any other action items or any other thoughts?
No, just do your research, like you said. And I believe you'll be fine.
Okay. Wow. Well, that wraps up another episode of the Turtlesmith No Ceilings Podcast. You can find all of this information and more on the Turtlesmith Network at turtlesmith.com. Thank you for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe and leave a review and share this episode with anybody that you feel needs this information. Thank you for joining in. Have a good one.